Yo, yo, yo. Hey, what's up? We're back. It's your main man, CD Rome, back in effect once again with Watch Your Narrative podcast. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for all the suggestions and the conversations that we've been having. We've been having some great topics, guys. If you did not listen to our top 15, please go back and listen to that. That was episodes 4, 5, and 6. And we want to know, did we get it right? Did Watch Your Narrative get it correct? There were some things I liked and did not like, but we want to know what you guys are talking about. So you can definitely go find us on Twitter at Narrative Watch. You can also go find us on Facebook as well, Watch Your Narrative. We also are on Instagram, Watch Your Narrative. And as far as listening goes, you can listen to us on all platforms, Spotify. You can go listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Music, anywhere where you stream your podcast or your music. And then, of course, we are also now on YouTube. So, guys, with no further ado, let's get straight into it, guys. We are about to have an excellent episode. We got some great topics that we're going to talk about. So let's get right into it. Let's get to Yo, 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 once again, man, it's your main man, CD Rome, back once again, episode 7, season 3 of Watch Your Narrative podcast. We got a great episode, some great topics that we're going to talk about today. Before we get into that, let's introduce the guys. We got my main man, Ace Boogie. What's up, brother?
What's happening? What's happening? Hey man, for those that's on video, man, I don't know if y'all keyed in, but on the intro, man, it said up next, never too much by Luther Vandross, man. That's so applicable to this application right now. Never too much. Never too much.
Hey. That's a good jam too, man. Good jam. And we also got my main man, J Nell. What's up? What's up, J Nell?
Going on? What's going on?
Yes,
Ready to get started, man.
that's right. That's right. And also, J Nell, I just want to say thank you, my brother, for the awesome intro music that we have. Also, the awesome image that you guys are seeing in the video world and on YouTube. Watch Your Narrative podcast. So, without further ado, guys, it's been some topics that I've been, that been kind of going around. We've been hearing some of the narratives and everything else that we've been just hearing about certain topics. So, of course, we kind of talked about some things that we want to talk about. And this thing right here just kind of just really stood out to me. It was actually something of a player that I absolutely really love, but not quite sure if what he was drinking on that day. But let's see. Paul Pierce, the truth. I had
A
that.
whole lot of lies.
Hey, I had that back on my jacket, man. Back in high school. The truth. I don't get me wrong. I love some Paul Pierce, man. So, but he made a comment. The question was asked him, and let's see if we can get a clip of that.
I have to talk about like better than Dwayne Wade. Our accolades, he got more accolades than me. Yeah, he got 3 championships. I got 1. Okay? Let's stop right here. No, listen. I want to hear this. All right. You telling me if you need a bucket down the stretch, who you want, Dwayne Wade or me? Let me ask y'all this: you want to win the game down the stretch with who you giving the ball to?
I'm gonna stop there. So that's a clip from a podcast that Paul Pierce was on, and the question was asked him, "Are you better than Dwayne Wade?" And of course, he immediately said, "Hey, he got more accolades." But when it comes down to, that clutch, that moment, and he also went on to say some other things as well, as far as him just being a better scorer than Dwayne Wade. So immediately, guys, I want to get your thoughts, man. Let's talk about this. Let's see. Does Paul Pierce have a point? Who was better? Who was a better player in their prime? Paul Pierce or Dwayne Wade? Neil, what you think?
Wow. When I first heard this, I just thought to myself, wow, man, somebody just needs to, I don't know who he's close to, or who's close around him, but somebody needs to tell this man, hey, maybe you need to kind of chill out on getting on these podcasts and interviews and stuff like that. Maybe you just need to, kind of take a break. I don't know what he was drinking, but no, I'm taking Prime D Wade over Paul Pierce every time. And it's funny that he mentioned accolades, right? Usually when a person gets those accolades, it's because they're a great player. So yes, he has more championships, he has more accolades because he's the better player. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And if you want to and he said something about him, taking the last shot or something being clutch. Um, Dwayne Wade had a very clutch moment in the finals, being down two to the Mavericks. You know what I mean? He was down 0-2 and came all the way back. And then, I don't know if the producer has the numbers or not, but if you go back and you look at those NBA Finals numbers, at the time they were comparing those numbers to Michael Jordan when he was in the NBA Finals. Nobody ever compared Paul Pierce's numbers in the finals to Michael Jordan. That's all I got to say about it. It's D Wade for me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll definitely get to the numbers. But what I'll say this. Let me jump in. I want to jump in this too, because Paul Pierce, when I listened to what he was saying, I think people, he said the same. He said this actually a couple years back, and immediately people kind of jumped on him about it. But I don't think people understanding what Paul Pierce meant. What he's talking about. Like if you were to line these two players up, Dwayne Wade, 6'4", 215, most of his career, 215, 210, 220, very athletic. But he definitely there was only probably one hole in this game, and that was usually the three ball, right? Like we're gonna sag off a little bit, give him the three ball. And Paul Pierce did not have that particular weakness. So you want to talk about a scorer that could post you up, and he brought this up too. He said, post, left shoulder, right shoulder, step back. Honestly, let's be honest, step back. Who was the first one of the first ones you remember that who just made that such a move? Like it was Paul Pierce, mid range, three ball. So I understand what Paul Pierce was coming from as far as like what he was trying to say, as far as like, I'm not saying that I had the better career, because you need the players as well. And Dwayne Wade definitely had that for the majority of his career. But Paul Pierce was saying like, man, hey, don't get it twisted. I was a bucket. I was that dude. You know what I'm saying? And Boogie, what do you say? What you think? Go jump on that.
Man, I hate to say it, man. And I hope that as we get older, we don't experience what Paul Pierce is going through right now. But what Paul Pierce is going through right now is called a midlife crisis.
Oh my gosh.
This is exactly what it is. Paul Pierce does not want to be forgotten in history. And I feel like that him saying that he's better than Dwayne Wade is just him trying to somehow, some way stay in the limelight. Now, I'm not disagreeing with Paul. I mean, Paul was a bucket for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But thing is Dwayne Wade was a bucket. I bet, and dare I say, a better bucket than what Paul Pierce was, and he was a better defender as well. So right. I'm just not understanding. Like, I think Paul Pierce is a little jealous, is what I would say. I think Paul Pierce is a little jealous in that, he's trying to find somebody in history that he can feel like he's got some type of argument that he's better than, right? Because we all regard Dwayne Wade as probably the third best shooting guard in the history of the NBA.
Right.
And I feel like Paul Pierce saying that he's better than Dwayne Wade, I think he feels that puts him higher up on the NBA echelon. But the fact of the matter is, Paul Pierce, even on bad teams, didn't have some of the scoring years that Dwayne Wade had. I mean, Paul Pierce, I think the most that he's ever averaged like 25 or 26 points a game in the season. Dwayne Wade averaged over 25 at least 3 or 4 times in his career. So, I don't know. And not to mention, Paul Pierce was on some bad teams, some really bad teams. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of hate to see it, man, because I feel like Paul Pierce is doing himself a disservice, honestly.
Well, I think that the reason why Paul is the way he is too, though, is because I think the narrative around him has always been, he hasn't gotten the respect that I feel like, and I'll be honest, and it's not his fault. His game was never that flashy, right? So you got to think about it. When he was in his prime, he was going up against guys like Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. I mean, so all these guys are just, I mean, you're going to highlight films, like highlight reels. I mean, you even had guys who had moments like, Stephon Marbury, who was like Steve Franchise. I mean, all these guys are like just highlight reels. And Paul Pierce was just, he was a bucket, though. He was the truth, but it was just.
But
it wasn't flashy. It was like.
But still, I mean. No. But
because Tim Duncan ain't got no problem getting
that's
all
exactly
types of
what I was gonna say.
Tim Duncan was exactly as plain as
who did Tim Duncan play with though?
Tim Duncan is
who did he play with?
No, but what I'm saying is Tim Duncan is
his game wasn't flashy.
The best power forward in the game, and he also played at the same time as like the Sean Kemps, some very athletic forwards who were flashier than he was. The thing, and not to mention Paul Pierce played in the big market too. So it's not like Paul Pierce didn't have the opportunity to not be seen and recognized.
Oh,
it's just other people were better than him. It's nothing wrong with that.
I feel that, but I don't think that. Of course, if you're talking about Kobe, you're talking about I mean, we're talking about these guys are, different, right? But Paul Pierce still was one of the better buckets in the game, and I mean, not even just. I take that back. Actually, because he was just a better player. He was an all-star, and we're going to get into that as well. But me personally, I think it's a lot closer than what people are trying to say as far as with Dwight.
Well, hey, say it. I got something that I think could possibly change the narrative.
Okay,
I'm gonna tell you a person who I think is at Paul Pierce is actually better than, and it's a name that you mentioned.
You better not.
I know.
You better not.
I'm sorry. He was better than Allen Iverson. He's better than Allen Iverson.
Oh,
Paul Pierce is better than Allen Iverson.
Okay, I know you're going with
the question was, who's better, Paul Pierce or Dwayne Wade?
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, Paul Pierce would be better than somebody. I give him Allen Iverson.
Oh, damn! I'm saying what? We're gonna move on.
Anyways,
is he not?
But hey, JP made a good point though. What differentiates, Dwayne Wade from Paul Pierce is that Dwayne Wade was a defender. Like he made like defensive teams. Paul Pierce, I don't think he made any defensive teams. So when you factor that in, and like his prime D Wade was something special. Prime Paul Pierce was, it didn't lead him anywhere.
He got to the conference finals now. He got to the conference finals now. Hold on.
Yeah. But I think during that clip he said something along the lines of, if you give me LeBron or Bosh or Shaq, you know what I'm saying? I give him a chip. He probably would have had one chip with LeBron and Chris Bosh.
One,
but he wouldn't have had a chip. He wouldn't have had a chip with playing with Shaq and James Posey and them.
Okay, hold on.
He would have made the conference finals, but he wouldn't have made the finals.
Nope. I can't.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't have made the finals.
Let you do it, bro.
He would not have made the finals.
Tell me why you think that he would have made the finals with that roster.
Why he would have made the finals?
Yeah, you think he would have won a chip with Shaq?
He would have won a chip with Shaq.
Wait, with Shaq and also with LeBron James? You kidding me?
I mean, he would have won one.
No,
he would've
no,
won
I'm
two
sure.
with
Well,
them.
but no.
Let me tell you something. Hold on, let me tell you
you got to
something.
take LeBron out because him and LeBron played the same position.
What that means?
So that would have never worked.
What are you talking about? Yes, it would have.
Paul Pierce and
Paul
LeBron
Pierce-
James
Bron
play the
plays
same
PG
position.
though. I think they would have figured that out, and they would have
Yes,
won
Paul
one.
Pierce literally would have fell into the same role as Dwayne Wade. He actually
But
probably fit better.
that year, that first year that
You
D
think
Wade
Dallas
went to the
would have
finals,
won?
I think
No.
Dallas would have won. They were up 2-0 against that team
Bro,
with D Wade, and D
let me tell you
Wade turned up.
Let me tell you something. If
Now I will
Paul
say
Pierce
Dwayne
would
Wade
not
has
have-
Dwayne Wade has some help from the refs in that series though.
yeah, man, I say this, bro.
But them
Like,
numbers was phenomenal.
Paul
Yeah,
Pierce,
it was.
because of the ability to shoot the three. Because I always say the same thing about Carmelo. If you were to put him into that team too, like, because it's a lot of guys, and that's one thing that Paul talked about that you just brought up was that I didn't have the same people. He got him a little late. KG was obviously heading towards the end. The cliff was going down, not going up. Same thing with Paul
Still an
Pierce.
all-star type of player though.
Like, he was defensive player of the year that first year. So that's why I was going with that too. Because, like, let's not get it twisted. Like, that 08 Celtics team, one of the best defensive teams, in that starting five, there was
And
no...
the 09 was good too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's because Rajon Rondo started getting into
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, he emerging. Yeah, he was emerging. He was a defensive point guard, pass first point guard.
Yeah, but when you put that five together, like Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG, Kendrick Perkins, all those guys, I mean, they were not playing on the defensive end. So I don't like when of course, Paul Pierce was never known as a defensive stopper. But as far as like you weren't just picking on Paul, you weren't picking on nobody on that team defensively. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Producer, let's move. Let's go to the next slide. Let's talk numbers here, guys. Let's talk numbers. Now,
there ain't nothing to talk about.
Yeah. So for my audio people,
Paul Pierce played more seasons.
Yeah, let me tell you what we're looking at here. So Paul Pierce, playing for the Celtics, 19 points per game for his career, 19.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists.
That's respect.
Let me see how many games. Yeah. Field goals made. I won't get into all that, but field goal percentage, shot around, it looks like 44.5%. Shot from the three, 36.8%. Free throw shooter, 80% from the free throw. But now this is what we're seeing here as well, audio fans. NBA championships and seasons. We're also looking at NBA championships. Paul Pierce 1, Dwayne Wade 3. NBA seasons. Paul Pierce played 19 seasons. Dwayne Wade played 16. Playoffs played. Paul Pierce made it to 14 playoff. Then Dwayne Wade made it to 13. And Paul Pierce, as far as I didn't see it was all. I don't know if that was All-Star games or not, but
10-time All-Star and D Wade was a 13-time All-Star.
13-time
Let's get to D Wade numbers.
Yeah. And Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat, 22 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 4.7 rebounds, 5.4 assists, shooting percentage of 48%, a 3-point percentage of 29.3. We all know that was one of his weak spots. Free throw percentage of 76.5. So even that is a little bit lower than Pierce, but Finals MVP.
But his field goal percentage was crazy. His field goal percentage is higher.
Oh yeah,
than Paul
a downhill
Pierce.
guy. But he was a downhill.
He's a shorter guy.
He was a downhill guy.
I think what Paul is looking at is, I think he's looking at Dwayne Wade and saying to himself, I can do everything he can do offensively. But like Dwayne, I mean, as we look at just career numbers, because Dwayne Wade, I mean, the crazy thing about it, if you honestly take off the last 2 or 3 seasons of Dwayne Wade, like his points per game average will actually be farther up. Like he has some
probably
I can say the same thing for Paul Pierce too, though.
I mean, yeah, you can say that, but I mean,
but if seasons was oof.
If you look at Paul Pierce's breakdown, when he got the big 3, his production went down. Understandably.
That too.
Understandably.
Yeah.
But Dwayne Wade still averaged 24, 25 points a game with LeBron and Chris Bosh on the
team. But that big 3 was more than just the big 3. Like you got Ray Allen, all of them was averaging probably about the same 18 to 19 points per game. But then you had Rondo giving about 14, 15. You had off the bench, you had Pope. I mean, that team was they were just a well-oiled machine compared to Miami, where, more top heavy. So Dwayne Wade to have those points per game compared to what Paul Pierce to.
But it's tough for Paul Pierce to be talking this much smack when, he had a big three. He had 3 good years and only got 1 chip to prove it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's
amongst
they were old.
And this too, amongst small forwards, is he even top 5 to ever play that position?
That's what's crazy. Calling out somebody else that played a different position.
Who is regarded as top 3 in his position. So how can he be better than Dwayne Wade? It doesn't make sense.
But I say this, of course we can play what if, of course, all we want, but it don't matter. But let's say in 2010 that we flip that series around and Paul Pierce actually wins that series, wins Finals MVP, and now he's a 2-time champ, beat Kobe twice. Then that changes things, right? I mean, you got to, because even the
it changes a lot of things.
Oh, it does. It does. I agree.
Kobe may go down to number 3 on the list, and Dwayne Wade go to number 2. I mean, it's just like when you're talking about a change in momentum like that, that's a historical change. If you take a chip from Kobe and then, Dwayne Wade still got, 3. I mean, that's pretty big.
Yeah. Because I think Paul Pierce, to me, and I hate when people say chips don't matter, because chips do matter. You get 1 chip, it puts you at
to an extent.
Yes, you get 1 chip, and now you're regarded as one of those guys. But when you get multiple, that's when people really start to look at you different. You got to get more than 1 chip to be on like the all time. But let's go back to this. Yeah. Now we're comparing stats for the YouTube people. You can actually read the board, pause the screen. You can look at everything from the stats standpoint. But for the audio people, I'll read out to you a couple stats. Compare.
Bro, this is not even close.
Yeah.
It's
precision. What is he drinking?
Dwayne Wade is better. Rebounds, Paul Pierce is better. Assists, Dwayne.
Something strong.
5.4 to Paul Pierce, 3.5. The steals, they're about right there with the steals per game. Dwayne Wade 1.5, Paul Pierce 1.3.
No, that ain't right there because that's when you go into steals and the blocks, 0.2, 0.3 is actually a pretty big difference in the number of steals.
I guess. And then we're gonna go to their best season. Like points per game, you were right, JP, 26 or 26.8 in 2006. Dwayne Wade in 2009 when he had the scoring title, 30.2. Paul Pierce, best rebounding year was 7.3. Dwayne Wade 6.4. Paul Pierce best assist year 5.1 to Dwayne Wade 7.5. Their best steal year 2.1 to Dwayne Wade's 2.2. Paul Pierce's best blocks year one block, and then Dwayne Wade's 1.3. But we all know Dwayne Wade, of course, is
defender.
One of the best
from a 2-guard standpoint.
2-guard,
for the 2-guard,
probably the best.
I think he's number 1. He is. He's number 1 on the list for blocks as a 2-guard. Mm-hmm. So, and then when we go to their playoff stats, yes, points per game as far as the playoffs, 18. But see, this is where Paul Pierce, who he played with, matters too, because it playing from most of his playoff career was playing with the big 3. But
he was the number 1 option.
Still was the number one option. Let's not forget
Dwayne Wade was number 2.
Wade was number 2.
Paul Pierce
was
number 1.
Yes.
Well, no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I hear what you guys are saying, but Boogie, you know this to be true. It wasn't always Paul Pierce number 1. Like, you want to talk about think about the Chicago Bulls series. It wasn't Paul Pierce. That 7-game series, Ray Allen was going crazy.
No, okay, that's understandable. I understand.
It was all about matchups. Because with the team, it wasn't like they were so good. And then not to mention, you got even KG that at times could lead the team in scoring. Who
was the number 1 option?
I'm being completely honest when I say this. If you go back and you look at their points per game, I know we want to perceive Paul Pierce as the number 1 option because
it was his team,
his ability to do everything on the floor. But in the grand scheme of things, if you go back to, depending on what matchups it were, like Ray Allen or KG could have been the best player on the floor at any time. There was no question that LeBron James was the best.
Right. We're talking about offensively. We're talking about offensively. Who was the number 1 option offensively for the Boston Celtics? We know that KG was the leader on that defense. He was the heart and soul of that defense. We know that Ray Allen could get hot at any given moment. We understand that, right? But offensively, who was the number one option on that team? And everybody will say it's Paul Pierce.
It was Paul Pierce. If he wasn't, Paul Pierce wouldn't been talking this hot.
So points per game for playoffs. Paul Pierce 18.7, Dwayne Wade 22.3.
Go numbers there.
The playoffs. Yeah, that's and then even their best playoff performance, which Dwayne Wade's best playoff performance was in 2010, 33.2.
33 points.
He probably got put out first round. And then Paul Pierce in 2003 was 27.1.
Right.
So
he probably got put out first round.
Hey, let's move on.
It just ain't even close. I know we're trying to make a discussion out of this. I know.
It's not close.
It's like no matter what coin that you try to play on, it's like you can't deny.
It's not close.
Like, I don't know why Paul Pierce even puts himself in this position to get clowned like this when he's actually a very good basketball player.
The truth, I tried, bro.
He's very good. Bro. You know what I mean? But he compared himself to somebody who's greater, and that's the problem. You know.
So, but see, the thing is, and I want to keep going back to this because we're not talking about career. Paul Pierce is basically saying, if I put on some shorts and I go to the gym, short shoes, we're going to a runs and pick up whatever. Like basically saying, like, I am the better player or the better scorer. Because I don't think he mentioned anything about being the better player. He just kept saying, who do you want? Like, I'm the better scorer. I can do this.
No, you're trying to clean this up for him. He's saying that he's better than Dwayne Wade.
I'm just saying, I just, and so what we're looking at here, Audio World, is a head-to-head matchup. This is a head-to-head matchup between Paul Pierce and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade averaged 22 points. Paul Pierce 19.7. That's for their career. Go ahead, field goal.
That's a good stat.
Yeah, go ahead, field goals. They both are identical.
The same.
15.
And that's crazy. He said last shot, who would you want? But go ahead, field goals. It's 15 or 69 for both.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They right there, man. They right there. So, but another thing that so let's tell you what, let's switch the narrative up a little bit. Let's switch the narrative to the next topic. So and we're gonna keep it in the theme of Dwayne Wade, man, because this topic came up.
Now we talking.
And at Jeff T.
Yeah. This is a closer discussion.
It's a closer discussion.
He's a friend of the show, by the way. Shout out to Jeff T. But he
shout out to that podcast too. Jeff T has become one of the funniest players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
He's so like he don't mind like being real about himself too. I just really appreciate that, man. He don't try to make himself seem like he was better than what he was, even though he was. Like literally, because Atlanta basketball history is Atlanta history. Basketball history so bad. He's probably one of the best point guards to come out of there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Yeah.
Real.
So the conversation was, of course, Dwayne. As you guys already mentioned, Dwayne Wade is regarded as probably the one of the greatest shooting guards to ever play. Probably number 3, just like his jersey, the number 3 player. But James Harden as a shooting guard is definitely in that conversation. But how far is he in the conversation? I'm gonna go to Boogie. Talk to me. Like, where does James Harden fall? Is he better? Should he be higher up than Dwayne Wade? What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure which direction y'all gonna go with it, man. But I'm just gonna be flat out, man. No, absolutely not. The system that James Harden plays in, like. We got to remember that same system won Steve Nash 2 MVPs. When you have a player who's I think I would consider James Harden an elite ball handler and a very good decision maker. But when you have a player that's got that green light to shoot or pass when he wants to, those numbers become so inflated that looking back at it, if you don't know the circumstances, then you will be like, man, this dude was probably the best player in the league. But when us who's watched the game and actually watched him play, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm hoping that James agrees with me. I don't think it's nowhere close, man. Again, you got Dwayne Wade, who was a two-way player. James Harden was never mistaken for a defender, ever. Dwayne Wade played both sides of the ball, as well as made sacrifices in order to make sure that he can win those 3 chips. James Harden has only gotten to the finals once, and that was as a bench player, and then only made it to the conference finals one time. Am I right? So I don't think I mean, it's a discussion. It's a closer discussion than what Paul Pierce is.
It's twice.
Saying. But yeah,
What you think, Neb?
Now, see, it depends on who you ask, right? Like if you ask me or Boogie or Ace, you know what I mean? We're gonna say, well, no, it's not close because D Wade, he was a more complete basketball player on offense and defense. But if you ask somebody who is considerably younger than us and only saw D Wade, post, the Heatles era, then obviously they're gonna go with James Harden, because James Harden had some highs. Now, let's not forget that MVP season was crazy. You know what I mean? Like that 2018-19 season, I think he scored like 50 points a game 9 times, scored 40 points 28 times. He was on a roll. Like he was on a
but he
run.
also had the greenest of green lights too.
He did, but we can say the same thing about Steph Curry. So, he led the league in scoring a few times, led the league in assists, actually this past season. So he's a great basketball player offensively. But I think again, what separates D Wade from a lot of these other shooting guards is his defensive ability. You know what I mean? And the fact that at the end of the day, James Harden has not proven to be a winning player. He hasn't won a championship. Whereas D Wade, he won 3 chips. So
yeah,
yeah, and I think that for me, when it comes down to James Harden, before this discussion came up, I never really even, because his career is not over, I just never I never thought about it. I really did. I never thought about it. But then when I really sat there and I started, looking at, his career, his numbers, things that he has done for the game, because I mean, the step back, all those things,
man,
guy was amazing. Like
Euro step too.
And you just think about this. This brother was putting up 60 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Like, whoa. Like, come on now. Like, for real. Like,
but he was a product of the system, though.
Wade, but
but even
when
then,
we're just talking about just a straight up mono.
Oh, but let me ask you this though: you don't think Dwayne Wade could have done that in D'Antoni's system?
No,
because you couldn't shoot threes consistently.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. If he had been a better 3-point shooter, he would have flourished.
I think that system would have been terrible for him because D'Antoni don't want to shoot twos and that's his game.
Well, no, that was not necessarily true. Because I think D'Antoni, if you give Dwayne Wade the green light to make pretty much every basketball decision on the floor, because Dwayne Wade was a very underrated passer. Like people don't realize how great of a passer Dwayne Wade is.
He came in.
You know what I mean?
So I'm playing
point guard.
In that system, man. Like it may not have been as efficient because of the 3-ball, but who's to say that Dwayne Wade may not have developed that playing in that system? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just looking at when before D'Antoni got there and after Steve Nash left that system, Steve Nash did not look like the same player.
He was over the hill, but at that point though, when we was talking about playing with the Lakers and all that, he was over the hill. He even tell you like he was just there to collect the check at that point. His body had broke down.
Yeah. So so that's a good point. So I'll say this. So with me, like actually sitting here talking about, the James Harden and that conversation coming up, like, where does he rank? Like, where ultimately, we're talking about shooting guards here. Like, so where does he rank in just that shooting guard position? Like, where does he rank?
I mean, I think when it's all said and done, he's in his position. I think we can make the case that he is a top 5, arguably a top 5 shooting guard to ever play the game. But he's not. I wouldn't put him above Kobe. I wouldn't put him above Mike, and I wouldn't put him above D Wade. But after that, I mean, we can have a serious conversation about James Harden being top 5 all time for sure.
What you think, Boogie? Top 5, not top 5, not quite. What you think?
Because outside of those 3, I mean, you think about it.
Yeah. What you think, Boogie?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted.
Mute himself.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think by the numbers, when it's all said and done, I think it'd be hard to say that he wasn't top 5. But I have to also, I have to put into perspective, man. Like he's got some horrible playoff failures, like horrible. And with that being said, I mean, I don't know if he's top 5, he'll be number 5, but something is telling me that I think he's outside that right now. Because and also like, let me ask y'all this: do y'all put Allen Iverson as a point guard or shooting guard?
Oh, he's a shooting guard.
He's a 2 guard. Yeah, Eric Snow is the point guard.
No question. Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
AI 2 guard.
He's a 2 guard for sure. Undersized 2 guard.
Yeah, because let me tell you. So I'll say this: like when I was sitting here thinking about it, now I'm gonna bring up a couple names as I'm going through this because I'm a little partial. So, well, first of all, let me ask you this: where do you guys put Vince Carter? Is he a 2 guard? Is he a 3?
I consider him a 3.
Yeah, he's a 2 guard.
Oh, you could. I consider him more of a 3.
Yeah,
he's a 2.
Yeah, because that was a thing that when he was in Toronto, I think he played more of the 3. But then when he got to the Nets, he played more of the
played 2.
And RJ played 3. So
I'm
kind of like torn, because you got Vince Carter, you got Tracy McGrady, injuries.
Klay Thompson.
You got Klay Thompson. You got Ray Allen. You got Reggie Miller. I mean, you got Clyde Drexler. So, I mean, the shooting guard list is, I mean, we talking about some names because what separates Michael Jordan, 6 rings. What separates Kobe Bryant, 5 rings. What separates Dwayne Wade, 3, right? Then after that, all these other guards, Clyde Drexler got 1, but he got it at the end of his career. So after that, the door just opens up because everybody else was great, but they kind of they didn't win.
You got Ray Allen too, man. Ooh, I mean, and Ray Allen got 3 rings?
Well, yeah. Ray got
he got 2. He got a couple.
Ray got 2. Yeah, Ray got 2. Yeah, Ray got 2. But
but the narrative
case, go ahead.
Manu Ginobili. Woo.
Yeah, but the narrative around, but what's crazy is though, if James Harden finds himself, let's say he does get to a finals and win a championship, then that kind of solidifies him, doesn't it? As a top 5 all time.
But at this point, he won't be.
He'll have everything he needs.
If he wins a chip, it's going to be very similar to like he will have to be number 2, number 3 option. He'll be tagging along for the ride on another young superstar's coattails.
Well, let's compare it. Let's look at some numbers. Like, let's see what the numbers say to kind of talk to. So what we looking at here, guys, from our audio team, we got James Harden, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade career numbers pulled up in front of us. We got James Harden averaging. This is like
man. I thought it would have been higher than that. His points per game.
This look like regular season.
That was the regular season numbers.
Yes, that was last year.
Oh, okay. Because I'm about to say, man, all them years that he ran the scoring.
It's got to be at least 20, 25, 26.
Yeah, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. And then for Kobe Bryant's career, we got 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And we know with Kobe, he came in the game. The first 2 years didn't even hardly play.
Yeah, that hurt him a little bit.
His career average will be way higher than that. Allen Iverson, 26.7, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Dwayne Wade, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And then I've got James Harden's career stats. It's 24.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and 7 assists a game. Yeah.
So those numbers are very comparable.
But what's so crazy is, man, I couldn't believe Allen Iverson's got that many career assists, though. I mean, that's actually. I'm actually pretty impressed with that.
Patch.
Yeah, 6.2. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Boogie, I'm actually with you there because I didn't realize his assist was that high. 6.2.
He had to do a lot. People forget Allen Iverson had to do a lot in Philly.
And that actually would change my thought process because I'll be honest. I was about ready to put James Harden over Allen Iverson, and it's because of the assist, right? But looking at Allen Iverson's assist, 6.2, and compared to James Harden, you said 7?
Yeah, 7.
I mean, we're right there.
Is
right
that
there.
a big difference?
I'm putting Manu Ginobili above him too. I don't care if Manu made a career coming off the bench. Manu Ginobili is definitely a top 5-6 guard.
He was a dog
in the league. Yeah,
I mean, he was a dog.
He came off the bench purely by choice. It wasn't because he wasn't good enough.
Yeah. So let me ask you this from a shooting guard standpoint. So most likely we got Jordan, we got Kobe. So after that is for both of you. Is it Dwayne? Is it Allen? Is it like who's it or AI should I say? Or, what do you guys think? Who is it at third spot?
I think the natural pecking order has got to be, MJ, Kobe, and then Dwayne. I mean, I think it's got to be that. I don't see how.
I mean, it can be an argument to be had about that, but I agree with Ace on this one. You know what I mean? I get a slight edge to Dwayne Wade for sure, but Allen Iverson, he did kind of change the game when he came in the game.
He did. So let's move forward, and here we go. So we got James Harden, we got Dwayne Wade here up on the screen because going back to the narrative that we're shaking up here. It was said that James Harden was a better player. Now, what we're looking at is peak versus peak. James Harden, we're looking at the year 2016 to the year 2020. For Dwayne Wade, we're looking at 2006 to the 2010 year. So this is before he played alongside LeBron James. And for James Harden, this was when he had the green light.
Green light.
So, all right. So let's look at it. So James Harden, regular season, 31.7 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 1.8 steals, underrated, 0.7 blocks, shot a 44% from the field goal, shot 35.9 from the three ball, and shot 86% from the free throw line. So that was the regular season. And then we look at Dwayne Wade's regular season, 27.4, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. 48 field goal percentage. The 3-point percentage was a little low, 28.8. Free throw percentage, 77.5. That's just regular. We're just talking just there, but go ahead.
Hey, CD-ROM, I'm sorry, bro, but the
steals, man. It's the defense. Defense,
this graphic
he sees it. I know
sums up.
Yeah, he sees it.
What I'm going to like. I mean, what I've always how do your numbers like? You look at Dwayne Wade.
Mm-hmm.
He got better in the playoffs. James Harden in the playoffs got considerably worse. So, I don't know what it is with James Harden in these playoffs, man. But I'm looking at these numbers. I'm thinking that the playoffs was
the regular season.
Oh my word! Like, bro, how in the world? Like, as you can't be chalked up as a top 5 shooting guard to me, and you get to the playoffs and you all of a sudden become a middle of the road player.
Yeah, but I don't want to say the middle of the road.
Yeah,
it's 29
points. Look at the field goal percentage though.
Yeah.
Look at his 3-point percentage.
I agree with that.
I mean, it just went down in the water.
Numbers are there. It's just the consistency, the efficiency is not there.
Yeah, when I was looking at this graphic, I was thinking the same thing. I figured one of you guys would spot that out. Like, and I think that really does sum up why Dwayne Wade to me too is 3 all time, and that's the difference. Because if you look at if regular season James Harden came out to play in the playoffs, then we may be having a different conversation.
Yeah, we
really might be having a different conversation, but because there's those moments where he just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's tough.
It's crazy, man. Yeah.
So let's say this for the audio. So playoffs. Oh, go back 1 second for me, producer Dave. I was gonna read off this. So for the playoffs, James Harden points went from for regular season it was 31.7, went down to 29.2. Rebounds was 6.6, went down to 5.7. Assists was 8.5, went down to 7.4. And field goal percentage 44.3 went down to 42.4. 3-point percentage 35.9 went down to 31.4. Dwayne Wade, however,
huge drop.
Yes.
Dwayne Wade, however, regular season 27.4 jumped up to 28.7 in the playoffs. 5 rebounds jumped up to 5.6 rebounds in the playoffs. And then of course his blocks per game, 1 went to 1.2. Field goal percentage about the same, but the biggest thing was his 3-point percentage went from 28.8 to 36.4 3-point percentage. You know, so and his free throw percentage went up from 77.5 to 79.2. So that's why he is at that moment. That's why he was a one-time champ. We're just talking about 2006 to 2010, right? So one-time champ, 4-time All NBA. He was 2-time All NBA first team, 2-time All Defensive during that time as well. So I mean, the guy was, you know, the guy was amazing. Let's move forward. Peak versus peak. So Dwayne Wade for me too, man, definitely number 3 on that shooting guard list. But I will say this, and this is just off my chest. This is just my heart right here. I just want to throw this narrative out here. I've been wanting to say this. I just want to say it. If you throw down, if you take away all of the accolades, take away, and I just want to take all this away. And I just want to say player for player, Tracy McGrady was better. I'm just want to throw it out there. Player
better than who? Better than who?
Player to player, Tracy McGrady in his peak was better than Dwayne Wade. Player to player,
We'll have to have another conversation about that one.
I feel like Tracy McGrady was
flag on the play.
The number 3 player would scratch away all the accolades in his peak year, whatever you want to call it, peak performance, whatever. Tracy McGrady was the 3rd best shooting guard I've ever seen behind Michael Jordan.
I knew you was going to say something about T-Mac.
I
knew it.
I just want to throw it out there.
Hey, James. I'm sorry, Neil, I'm telling you. You know who else was right up there? Brandon Roy.
He was good.
Since we're going there, Brandon Roy was probably
he was good.
Well, he was on pace.
If it's not for the injury,
he was on pace. He was on pace. That boy was good. But he wasn't Tracy McGrady. We can move forward.
T-Mac was tough though.
Yeah. So this is another player comparison. We're just like reiterating the fact right now. That
Dwayne Wade's better.
Now this graphic here, James Harden, like this. So this is great. So player comparison. Let me talk to the audio world. Inside scoring, the tip goes to Dwayne Wade. Outside scoring and playmaking goes to James Harden. Athleticism, defense, and rim protection all go to Dwayne Wade. Rebounding is even. Clutch, leadership, and basketball IQ goes to Dwayne Wade. Better score, impact, one-on-one game goes to James Harden. What do you guys think? Do you think this is correct, this graphic here? What do you guys think?
Almost, except for impact. I don't agree with that. I think Dwayne Wade had more of an impact on the game because he was a two-way player and affects both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I understand that's such a vague
broad
impact.
Yeah.
Like, hey, are we talking about off the court? I mean, what are we
on the game?
I mean, I think that when we're talking about
in the game,
impact, what you think about, I think all of it together, but you got to think about what James Harden did too. Like, so what he did was certainly impactful on the floor and off the floor as well, because on the floor, we're talking about a guy who maximized just numbers. Like, if you look at all of the MVPs now, it's all about the numbers. You remember when Derrick Rose got MVP, he averaged 23 points per game. When Steve Nash got MVP, he about averaged 14 to 15. Nowadays, it's all about
average 18.
It's all about 18, 20 numbers. Like James Harden numbers that he puts up are like video game numbers. So now
it's crazy.
Everybody wants.
But that's because he played the game like a video game.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? He played it exactly how you would play in a video game.
Yeah. What you got? The right stick, left, right, go up between your legs.
I mean, that's it. And you don't, and you know, you just passed her up, but he gonna get the most shots out of everybody.
Oh yeah. So
and the thing about it is, I'm hate to just go on this tangent too, but I mean, you know, if you look at the shot attempts, you know, it would look about even. But when you really think about it, James Harden got fouled so many times going to the rim and those attempts don't count. So like James Harden was probably taking like 25 to 30 shots a game easily.
Yeah. I agree with that. So I think it's safe to say that as a two guard, I think it's safe to say that Dwayne Wade is better than James Harden. But what about Allen Iverson? Is
That,
James.
that's definitely a closer
That's tough.
discussion.
That's
That's definitely a closer
because I
discussion.
mean, at the end of the day, they both don't have the championships, you know. But I felt like culturally, from a cultural standpoint, I go with AI. You know what I mean? But man, it's tough.
Uh,
That's tough though. That's tough though. You
I
know?
think the thing about it was Allen Iverson wasn't the greatest defensive player, but that was mainly due to his size.
Yeah.
He
And I
got
think
those steals though.
yeah, he did. He definitely got those steals. I mean, that was a strength of his, and that would be that should be the strength of any small player.
Yeah.
I just feel like James Harden being as big and as strong as he is, especially in his prime, like for him to be that bad of a defensive player, it's tough me to respect.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just
at the end of the day, I think what it is Allen Iverson had heart. He played with heart. He didn't cheat the
right,
game when he was on the floor. You
right.
know, so
That's
I
for
would
sure.
go AI. Mm.
So looking at the head-to-head here, they both did not win any championships, no final MVPs, but of course they both were MVP of the leagues. All NBA teams, they both had 7 All-Star appearances. James Harden has 10 to Allen Iverson's 11.
Yeah,
They
and I don't
both,
think watch a narrative hot take right here. I don't think James Harden's gonna be in another All-Star game.
I
I don't know if that's
I can't disagree with that at all.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't
We'll see. If he's healthy, I think
yeah,
he can make an All-Star team.
yeah, depending
He's
on where
healthy.
he gets traded to as well,
Yeah. It
like right.
depends.
The league is such a young league, and I agree with that actually, Boogie, because what typically happens is that when the league gets tired of you, they just
They
drop you
move
off.
on.
They move
They
on,
move on.
and it's so quick. It's so quick when
Really
they move
quick.
on.
They forget too.
Yeah, yeah.
But he expedited this though
He
by
did.
jumping ship so many
Jumping
times.
ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did. Now I will say, looking at that total win share, that's huge. 149.6 to 99, and of course career player efficiency
but
rating
I hate to
24 and
say
a
it too,
half,
man. But
20.9.
look at how many Hall of Famers James Harden has played with compared to
Yeah,
what
I
Allen
was gonna say
Iverson.
that too. Like Allen Iverson, can we really remember just a player that he just
Eric
played
Snow.
with? The Philly
No.
days. We're talking about the
Oh,
Philly
Philly days.
days. Not,
Okay, Philly days.
yeah,
Okay,
we're not talking
Matumbo.
about
okay,
Nuggets.
Matumbo.
okay. Philly days. Yeah. Philly days.
Phillies.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Talking about prime and prime. You know.
yeah. He played with a young Iguodala. That's about the best player he played with, and that was young
Yeah.
Iguodala.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy, which is crazy. So, I personally, with Allen Iverson, I'm with Neb when it comes to it's just hard for me to put somebody over him. Like it's gotta be a landslide because I'm looking at the
Yeah.
numbers right now and they're so close.
Close.
Like,
Yeah.
scoring titles, Allen Iverson 4 to James Harden 3. Now I would say that the biggest difference is going to be, of course, James Harden being able to, be an assist leader, like being a better playmaker. But because of what Allen Iverson did for the culture, I just can't. It's got to be a landslide in order for you to get put over Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson was at one point, and this is with prime Michael Jordan, probably in America, probably the most popular player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it's not like they wanted him to be the most popular.
No, they didn't. Oh, yeah, no, because he's what John Morant aspires to be.
That's true. That's true. I think I do a lot of comparisons there, and John is definitely, with the trouble and all that. It's just he's definitely that. So let's change the narrative again, guys. There's another topic that has been brought up a lot. It started with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard came out and talked about him being better than Jokic, and it kind of brought to my mind, like, did Dwight have a point? Is he an all-time center? Is Jokic an all-time center? Is Joel Embiid, is he an all-time center? Because as we can see here on the graphic, we're talking about some of the all-time greats: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. It's hard. Moses Malone. Like, we're talking about some names.
Team Elijah one.
We're talking about some names. And Dwight, Jokic, and Embiid, where do those guys kind of fall? So we're talking about the greatest centers ever, right? So let's go through some of these names here. Number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know, and first of all, I just want to say this is not in any particular order, guys. We just got names here, right? But for the most part, this is the projections here. Number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 24 points per game, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, shooting percentage of 55, almost 56%. Wilt Chamberlain, 30 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game. Let me tell you something. I say this. If you replace Wilt Chamberlain with, like, let's say Bill Russell, and he had all those titles, every conversation we had to have about being the greatest player of all time, would always have to say, excluding Wilt Chamberlain. You know, we would have to say, you know, well, excluding Wilt Chamberlain, who's the greatest of all time? You would always have to put him out of it because he would be the greatest of all time, hands down. But the lack of rings, that hurt him. But Bill Russell, number 3, and that's the reason why he couldn't get rings. Bill Russell, 3, 15 points per game, 22.5 rebounds. Man, crazy. 4.3 assists. Shooting percentage, you know, he wasn't a scorer. But then we got Shaquille O'Neal, number 4, 23 points per game, 23.7, 10.9 rebounds, 2.3 blocks, even though they say he didn't play defense. And shooting percentage of 58%. Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the best to ever do it. Best footwork, 23.7 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2.3 blocks. Who we got at 6? 6, we got Moses Malone, 20 points per game, 12 rebounds. We got David Robinson at 7, 21 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. The Admiral. Number 8, Patrick Ewing, 21 points per game, 9.8 rebounds. George Mikan, Patrick Ewing, yeah, for sure. George Mikan, 23.1 points, 13.4 rebounds. Played in the I think the Ice Age. And then Bill Walton. And then Bill Walton, 13.3 points per game.
Say you said George Mikan. I was like, who?
10.5 rebounds.
That number 10 suspect.
That
number 10 suspect.
Yeah.
That number 10 suspect.
So let's talk about it though, guys. Like where does, like, we seen the all-time greats, where do you just drop these guys in at? Like, let's start with Dwight. Where do you just seen the numbers? If you drop him in at all, where do you drop him in at? Neb.
What are you talking about? Dwight?
Yes, Dwight Howard. If you drop him in, he may not be in your all-time, all top 10. But where do you drop him in if you do?
No, he's not in my all top 10.
Okay.
Dwight is not?
Peak, not in my all-time top 10.
Okay,
I don't think he is.
Okay,
I don't think he'll end up being in that top 10.
Okay, so do you have a list? I mean, do you have, like,
I don't think he'll be in that top 10.
Okay.
When it's all said and done, when Joel Embiid and especially Nikola Jokic, when he ends up retiring, if he continues on this stretch he's on, I don't think Dwight's in the top 10. Top 15, yeah, we can have that conversation, but I don't know if I don't know about putting him in the top 10. I can't put him in the top 10.
I'm a little
do that, man.
I'm a little biased, man, because y'all knew, man, like when I was growing up, man, I was a huge Dwight Howard fan. He got,
but his peak was crazy though.
I honestly, man, dude, I'm serious, man. Dwight Howard, I would put him at like 10 at the lowest,
Producer
maybe
Dave,
as high as 8.
Go back to the last slide for me, Producer Dave, if you can, because I just want to, because I don't think that, I'll be honest, like the first 5 that we showed, none of those 3 guys are touching that for me.
Yeah.
None of those 3 guys are touching
the top 5.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Bill Russell. Like, they're not touching that yet. Not yet.
Right.
And it's all about, you gotta put some more time in, get some more titles. But this second half of the list, I think it's open.
Oh, it is.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's open. So I'm gonna tell
you can't. You can't. No, I'm just saying you can't say a player that's got 5 All NBA first teams.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a total of 8 All NBA teams that he was on. He's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time defensive, All Defensive Team, All Rookie Team, 5-time rebounding leader, 2-time block leader. Dude, I don't.
He's a champion too. Let's put that out there.
And a champion. And he wasn't the lead dog.
Hey, I'm just
About,
saying,
he was
helped your
about the
boy.
6th or 7th dog. He was about the 6th or 7th dog on that team. But either way, he still got a chip.
He does
Like,
got a ring. He does have a ring.
To me,
That's true.
and Dwight Howard, people are forgetting. Dwight Howard wasn't no 7-footer. Dwight Howard was like he was undersized. Yeah, he was a 6'9", 6'10", and dominating the game defensively. So
didn't have a jump shot to speak of, or
didn't have a jump shot,
still was dominating.
and was still averaging, giving you 20, 10 and 2010 and like 2 or 3 blocks. I mean, it's just he was off the chain.
Rim protection too. I don't know, man. Hold on, man. I may have to change that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't in that top 5.
Hey, he made that cover NBA Live for a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Okay, he might be in my top 10.
I will say this though. I will say this. When it's all said and done, I don't think Joel Embiid is going to be the one that's outside looking in, because I don't think his health window will allow him to be.
That's fair. I think that's fair though. That's fair, because he hasn't really been healthy. That's fair.
Okay, so here we go. Thank you.
I hate putting up Dwight Howard's career stats, man. We got to do his prime stats, because these guys are in their prime right now.
Yeah. So I think that if we can just find that and just read it out, if we can find his one of his prime years,
that's prime stats.
Prime Joel Embiid last season averaged 33.1 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting percentage of 54.8. Then Jokic averaged 24.5, 11.8 rebounds, 9.8 assists, third in assists in the league, and then 63.2 field goal percentage, which is absolutely crazy. And if what you got for Dwight?
Dwight, now scoring wise, now again, he was not as skilled offensively.
It wasn't that,
but he was still giving you about 23 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at rebounding, oh my gosh, rebounding, he was giving you about 14.
I think about 14.
So 20. So 23, 14, and assist wise, when he was not. I mean, you're looking at 2 assists.
No.
But when which this graphic that we're looking at now don't show the blocks per game, but I mean the man was averaging.
Yeah.
He was averaging
probably 4,
2.5 to 3 blocks a game.
Yeah, and then even in his field goal percentage for his career though, 58.7. That's pretty good. And a lot of it was all around the rim, of course. I personally think, especially since Dwight Howard's career is already kind of said and done, he's a Hall of Famer. I hate that he has to go out in the media and kind of like try to plead his case. The media, however, has messed up his narrative. It all started from when he left Orlando to go
play with Kobe. That's the worst decision he could have made.
That was the beginning of his narrative just going down.
But I will say this though, man. Dude, people forget he was actually a beast in Houston though. Them first 2 seasons in Houston.
Yeah, with James Harden. Yeah.
Ooh,
that pick and roll they were running.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. If they didn't lose to Damian Lillard on that buzzer beater, they might have been on their way to the chip, because that was before Golden State kind of got there. Got onto their rhythm too.
There was a window.
That was their opportunity.
There was a window. There was definitely a window open where they could have done some things there. So one of the stats we're looking at here, Dwight Howard, he played 18 seasons with 7 teams, including the Magic and the Rockets. He has averaged 15, as we brought up before, 15.7 points, 11.8 rebounds. And I personally think that in Dwight's case, and Dwight is, to me, just looking at the graphic we looked at earlier, me personally, I would put him in my top 10. I would probably slide him somewhere between David Robinson. No, honestly, I would slide him between David Robinson and Patrick Ewing. I mean,
I would have him as high as probably like 7 or 8.
Because that list that I saw, that's kind of how I got my centers, specifically. I may change a little bit up because I'm not that big on. I love Wilt, but I would probably put Bill.
Wilt was playing in a era where there was nobody that could guard him.
Yeah. So because I'm all about the winning. It's kind of like we talk about James Harden and Wade. I would put Bill over. 11
over Wilt.
You just can't.
Yeah, that's
You know?
crazy.
Yeah. So, but as far as that back half, like Patrick
Back
Ewing,
half is
great.
kind of
But Dwight, I
yeah.
would drop Dwight right in there in front of him. You know, I wouldn't put him over David. I would have to think about the David Robinson thing to see if he's better than him. But I know David definitely was a better offensive player and definitely,
Mhm. He held his own.
he was a
He
stud.
played
David
in
was
a
a stud.
he played in the era where they had some great centers. He
Yeah,
held his own too.
exactly. So he was a stud, bro. And so,
Hey,
but
I'm sorry. I just realized something too. How in the world does Dwight have a 53% 3-point? He must have took like 3 threes, 3 or 4 threes that season. And
yeah.
he didn't
Well,
hit.
you know
He
what,
hit a
though?
couple of them.
Yeah, I was about to say now that was no, he probably took more than that. That season was was that the
That
Lakers
was that.
maybe or
Yeah, that was
the
his last year with the Lakers.
okay, because he he started shooting more threes. You know, don't get me wrong, he probably didn't take them about 5 or 6, but
Yeah, but I mean, he hit most of them though.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you got to add to your game, man. You got to add to your game, and then of course, you know, not Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic. You know, of course, his averages is 20.2 points, 10 and a half rebounds, 6.6 assists. But his career is just really, he's just getting to that point the last 3 or 4 years where it's just, you know, he's been going crazy. You know, 2 MVPs, finals MVP now. So I mean,
I got a question for you, Ron.
Yeah.
Right now, Nikola don't play another game.
Yeah.
Top 10?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I think that with the way that if he stops playing right now, he's already changed the way that you look at big men already. Big men were gone. You know, it was just when Dwight was ruling the league as a big, it was just him and then maybe Andrew Bynum. You know, and other
That's
than
crazy.
there was nobody. There was nobody else. And they were dead for a while after those two kind of fell down. And then next thing you know, of course, you know, DeMarcus Cousins, when he was hot, it was just him.
Yeah, but you know, we forget about Pau Gasol too now.
Yeah. Well,
Pau Gasol.
He was more of a power forward half of
his
half his career. Yeah.
But I would say, like, to answer your question, I mean, you got to put him in there. I mean, if I'm putting Dwight above, I don't know if I would. I got to put him above Dwight. So if that's the case, I have to put him at like
in the top 10 for sure.
I would put him over David Robinson. You know, at this moment, I mean,
well,
2-time MVP, Finals MVP. Yeah, I mean, I put him over David Robinson. Now, I don't know about Moses yet, but you know, I would definitely. He's there. Give him a couple more good seasons, he'll probably be. I can't say he'll crack that top 5. You know, we got to see what happens.
He putting up Wilt-like numbers in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, see,
that
continue
top 5,
to do that and win top 5. We started talking about Elijah One, and we started talking about Shaquille O'Neal. So, you know, you gotta.
Yeah, but if he win them chips,
but you know what, man. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like some players, to me, they stuck in that space, and like to me, Shaq, you got to put him at that like, you know, 2 between that 1, 2, and 3. Nothing that nobody else ever does to me like that because of how dominant he was. I mean, like it's just crazy.
Couldn't shoot or nothing like that. But as far as the post, the inside, triple teams,
and he only had like 2 moves.
Yeah.
He only had 2 moves, but boy, you just couldn't beat him.
Yeah, and keep this graphic up. Let me go to Joel Embiid real quick because I think this kind of highlights the problem, the issue of Joel Embiid too. So, you know, of course, he had his best season last year, MVP, all that. But let's look at his career. Now, first of all, look at his career numbers for the regular season. 27.2, 11.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and, you know, 1.7 blocks, and then 50% shooting, 33% shooting from the 3, and 81% shooting from the free throw line. So even if you were to compare his stats regular season wise to some of those all-time greats, his numbers are right there.
They're there. Right. They're definitely there.
But this is the issue. This is the same issue with James Harden. When you go to the career playoffs, it starts to drop. So career playoffs, you go from 27.2 to 24. 24, that's a big drop. And we got a healthy sample size of that too. That's 53 games he's played in the playoffs. 11.2 rebounds drops to 10.9. 3.4 assists drops to 2.8. 1.7 blocks. Okay, that goes up. But other than his field goal percentage drops
from the field goal percentage
to
for
46. The 3-point percentage drops from 33.7 to 28.
Right.
So he got the James Harden juice. Like, I don't know. Oh my goodness.
No, but his problem is that, and we talked about this when we were going into our top 5 list last episode. But my thing is just, like he refuses. Like when the going gets tough, he refuses to play to his
Checks
strength.
out. Yeah, he checks
I mean,
out.
yeah, I just made like he starts hovering around the perimeter, and it's like, dude, make it easier
Get
for
in
yourself
the-
because
get in the post.
there's nobody in
Nobody
the
can
league
stop
that can guard him.
Yeah.
Nobody in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I think another problem with Joel Embiid too, is he plays down to his competition.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he goes up against somebody that's, worthy,
Calling
or
in Towns, or he
or,
takes matchup.
Yeah, because
especially Jokic.
Nick
He
Claxton
owns it.
gave him the business in the playoffs. I don't know if
Yeah.
y'all remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until Nick Claxton got kicked out. And I think Nick had like what 25, 26 points on him.
Nick was going crazy.
Had a career
He was going
game.
crazy. He was
Yeah,
going crazy.
he plays down to his competition. I don't know if he doesn't respect other centers or what. I don't know.
So I know Boogie said he don't put him in his top 10. So what about you, Neb? Joel Embiid, do you drop him in there or?
I mean, look, I'm just going back to that graphic of who was number 10.
Don't do Bill Walton like that. Don't do Bill Walton like
listen,
that.
And if we're talking about health and injuries, Bill Walton too.
Yes.
He had injury problems during his career. He only won one chip with the Blazers.
Yeah, bad.
So when you
the problem,
who you taking? You
It's
know
open.
what I mean? I'm
open.
taking Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
I'm taking the 27 and 10.
Yeah.
If he has a couple more MVP seasons.
But I'm saying if he don't play another game, is he top 10?
It's still, I mean, it could be a conversation about it, but I don't think he's top 10 yet.
Yeah,
but if he has a couple more MVP caliber seasons,
yeah. If I agree with that, it's the playoffs, man. That's what.
That's the only thing.
Because Jokic was able to last year, make a staple for himself and basically put himself on the outside for the top 10. Now he's two-time MVP, almost 3. I mean, averaging almost a triple dub. I mean, and now won a title to go with it. So you got to put him over a lot of guys when it comes to that. But then Joel Embiid, however, is just as good. I mean, we're talking about just as good as Jokic. And me, I've already told you guys in former episodes, I would pick Embiid. But the problem is, I mean, you've seen it. The playoffs, he just drops down. It's the IQ. It's a lot of it. So until he gets that together, he's outside of my top 10. Bill Walton, he got a title to show for it. The Blazers' only title. I mean, if it weren't for injuries, he would probably have done more. So I mean, Joel Embiid, man.
So Joel Embiid just needs a couple more MVP seasons, or he needs to win an NBA championship. That's what it sounds like to me.
Or I've said it before.
At least get to the finals. At least get to the finals.
We've seen the best. We've seen the best.
Get out the second round, my
The window's closed, man. Window's closed.
The second round.
It hadn't closed yet.
They're stuck with James Harden.
Closing.
And they're not going to get nothing back for him.
Yeah.
Tell me. It's done.
It's closing, but it's not over.
It's done.
I don't think.
It's done.
I don't know if it's...
I am willing to stake my name and reputation. It's done.
Yeah.
You heard it.
Bill Walton won the championship with the Celtics.
Oh, with the Celtics.
Not
the Blazers. So, not the Blazers.
Not the Blazers.
With the Celtics. Excuse me.
But he still only won one chip. And with that one chip, he wasn't even the I would imagine he wasn't the first option on that team. He was a role player by then. So
right.
It's over.
Okay.
It's definitely
that he had.
Just for clarification, he has 2 championships. 2 championships. One with the Blazers. We're right with the Blazers, and then he also has one with the Celtics. So
Either way it go, man. 13 and 10.
Yeah, but it was different era. Different era.
That's true.
Different era. Well, listen, guys. I hope that we change some narratives for some people. I hope that we shed some light on some of the narratives that we talked about when we're talking about Dwayne Wade. Don't play with Dwayne Wade's name. Don't play with Dwayne Wade's name.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yourself look foolish. Don't play with Dwayne Wade's name.
Hall
but
of
I
Famer.
want to say this: Paul Pierce. I don't want people to play with Paul Pierce's name either. Paul Pierce.
He's playing with his own name.
But you don't have to compare yourself to be great. You're great, bro. You're great.
Yeah.
You're all-time great Celtic. Your number is up in the rafters. You're gonna be a Hall of Famer. I mean, you're good, brother.
What else does he want?
Yeah, you're good, brother. You ain't gotta do nothing else. You ain't gotta prove yourself to none of these guys. James Harden, you need to get yourself a title, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Nick. What else you got to do?
He don't want it.
Go ahead.
He don't want it. He don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't think?
I don't think winning is important to him. Yeah.
No, I'm starting to think now that he has vacations planned during the summer that he ain't trying to lose his money on. So he won't do enough to get past, but it's just
listen, he got that weekly every Thursday Magic City appointment, boy.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. It's crazy.
So yeah, and then from there, AI, shout out to AI, all those guys, but then going to Dwight, same thing with Dwight, man. Some of these guys, they end their career and they just feel like they got to go out in the media and keep bringing the name up. Stop. Now, are you an all-time top 10? In my estimation, I think you are, brother. I think you are. You're there.
I agree too.
You're there. But is Joel Embiid better? I'm sorry, not Joel Embiid. Excuse me. Is Nikola Jokic better? Sorry, brother, he is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Much love and respect. If you would have gotten over the hump with the in that Lakers series and got a title, maybe
that changes the narrative, doesn't it?
It changes the narrative. You control your narrative.
Yeah, you
control it. Like, you control it. You got to take advantage of the opportunities that you're given, and Jokic was able to do that. Man. So listen, this is episode 7. This is Watch Your Narrative. Watch Your Narrative Nation. Let us know. Do you think Dwight Howard's all-time top 10 center? Do you think James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade? Or would you even put him in your all-time top 5 shooting guards? James Harden, it is. We want to know. Go find us on Twitter, Narrative Watch. Go find us on IG, Watch Your Narrative Podcast. We're also on every platform that's available for you to listen to music. And we're also on YouTube as well. But once again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Watch Your Narrative. We're out.